everyone, welcome back to the Whippy Studio, and today I'm here to talk about the My Word School movie, and this came out on Nickelodeon at the end of December, so it's about a month old. But basically, this is a series based on a lot of books, a really long series. I mean, he's still writing them, Dan Gutman. He also writes other books too. Like he wrote The Homework Machine, which I think I reviewed on the channel, and I really enjoyed that book. So he's branched out from My Word School, but My Word School I think is kind of his most popular series, especially for elementary kids. The school's called Elementary, which I always found hilarious. It's based on this group of kids led by AJ, who he hates school. And basically they go to the weirdest school ever where all the teachers are weird. And that's basically the plot. Every book is about another teacher. So Miss Daisy is their second grade teacher. And then there's like their gym teacher, Mrs. Small. Their Mrs. Lazar is the janitor. They have like Lazar is bizarre and Daisy is crazy and Principal Klutz is nuts. It always rhymes with it too. I don't know if the newer books they rhyme. I mean, I'm sure they do. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, where you can just really never run out of ideas for it. I'm going to assume that if I started reading the books again, I wouldn't enjoy them, though, because I've moved so far past this what's geared towards elementary kids. Because the thing with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because I definitely moved past that, too. What I was supposed to say is that kids my age definitely have moved past that. I personally haven't. I think it's still... because it is middle school, so it's a little bit more mature than My Word School is. And I feel like there's a bigger fan base out there that's older for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I know a lot of adults who love it and like parents who do, as opposed to My Word School, which is pretty firmly stuck in elementary. I mean, I'm going to assume that's what most kids who are in elementary school who watch this movie. It came out on Nickelodeon, and I don't watch Nickelodeon anymore. I think Nickelodeon's kind of a thing of the, I really think Disney Plus has taken over. I don't know how successful Nickelodeon is doing these days, but this movie made it onto there, which I found an interesting choice. I guess it somewhat makes sense, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Nickelodeon was the right fit or whether a different service it would have done better on, but, It's hard to say. It's not out. It was supposed to come out on Paramount Plus, and they pulled it for some reason, so now there's no way to watch it. I found a link to it online. Someone posted on Reddit. That's how I watched this. I didn't... It was like a 5 p.m. showing on Nickelodeon. Who's going to watch a movie at 5 p.m.? I wasn't, that's for sure. On a Tuesday? Yeah, no thanks. I don't have time for that. But I did want to check it out because I read these books a lot. Probably for the first 3 full series of them that he did. I reviewed one on the channel. I had to go back and look. It was Miss Tracy Spacey. I unboxed it with one of my friends from elementary. That was 2017. That was my third video I think that I did. My second or third. Absolutely bananas. So I'm like, you know what? I will check this movie out. My mom, apparently, they get checked out from the library all the time where she works back home. So, speaking of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, though, before I jump in, they released the Book 21 cover and title, which is called Fight or Flight. I'm going to record it when I go home next weekend, so expect it next weekend. I don't have my tripod here. I don't really have a good lighting in my room to film, so I'm just going to do it back home. So stay tuned for that. So My Word School. So the actual synopsis for the movie, it says, I'm going to shorten some of this. AJ, along with his best friends Ryan and Lex, they're starting 6th grade in a place called Middle Middle School. I like that a lot. AJ, however, hates school as much as he hates Andrea, his mortal enemy. The first day of school was just as bad as AJ knew it would, but on the second day, things got a lot weird, with not just the teachers, but the entire school itself, with uniforms, dusty textbooks, bad cafeteria food, and strange behavior coming from the faculty. It's up to AJ and his friends to figure out why this school has turned out weird. With the help of Andrea, new friend Todd, and quirky new gym teacher Mr. Small, AJ is going to do the impossible, save the school from an alien invasion. Weird, right? So they got some parts of it down with that synopsis. I mean, the middle, if you're going to put it in middle school, that's the best way you can do it, by just playing with that. Instead of elementary, middle. I think that's hilarious. The uniforms, dusty textbook. I mean, a lot of this stuff, like the teachers being weird, that's on par. I was curious how weird they going to be and how cringy was it going to be. And for what it's worth, I thought it was really cringy at first. But then as I went on, I just kind of was like, thought the actors who played the teachers kind of like, it seemed like they were actually having fun in their roles. So I didn't feel it was as awkward as it could have been. I mean, it was still kind of cringy to watch, especially that when they started like fighting there towards the end, like the three teachers were. But it was something for sure. I thought the teachers themselves, they did like a good job in their role. Now AJ, I think he was casted perfectly, and he was definitely like the standout. I think he did a great job. His actor did in his role. It definitely to me felt a lot like AJ in the books. Like I felt like they wrote and casted him perfectly. Ryan and so Lex is a girl now. I think Lex, there was like this girl named Alexis or Alexi, I think, and that was introduced later in the books. I think she's supposed to represent her. And then Todd is not friends with them, but he becomes friends with them, like kind of just helping them out. I mean, this really, the My Word School books are just about like this class like dealing with the teachers on their own one by one. But in this there's this big overarching plot line where the teachers become aliens. Basically, it's aliens, which I guess for like Nickelodeon they couldn't, maybe they thought they couldn't do the like just a normal like weird teacher route. They had to like add in some over the top alien thing, and I guess they had to do that to make it. I didn't love the aliens of it all. That's just not. I don't think it really worked for this. What I enjoyed about them was just the teachers just being weird and nothing like supernatural about it. It just felt a bit extreme, but I also get that you have to make some changes. So, and maybe they just didn't think it would do as well if they didn't put in some over the top thing into it. That's the best explanation I can come up with. But I thought the kids who played Ryan, AJ, and Lex, they had great chemistry with each other. I really enjoyed their dynamic. And then of course introducing Todd and Andrea, who I would say Andrea was pretty on par with what I remember her being in the books. Annoying, but I think she was more annoying in the books, honestly. She didn't feel as bad. I mean, she just, to me, in the movie, there's just always a girl like Andrea who's like a teacher's pet, sits in the front row, and that's all she felt like to me. She didn't feel over the top annoying like she was in the books. Of course, some of the dynamics it was cool to see play out on screen, like AJ and Andrea's little rivalry and then them becoming friends towards the end. I did like that because there wasn't a whole lot of comparisons. Like, it really felt a lot different. They made a lot of changes. Like, Die from a Kid, they pretty much kept almost everything the same. My Word School, they changed a lot, and they made it middle school, first of all, which I still think they should have just done elementary. I don't see why not. I think kids could pull it off. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Especially for Nickelodeon anyways. I feel like it's a little bit younger than middle school, but I'm going to assume that it was mostly elementary kids who watched this anyways. I don't think many middle schoolers were watching this. So the teachers, though, they had Principal Klutz, and then they made him bald at the end, which I like that, because I was wondering why he wasn't bald, because he is in the books. And then they had Mr. Small, it was Mrs. Small was the gym teacher, and then they changed it for this for some reason. Miss Hannah is the art teacher, I'm pretty sure. Mrs. LaGrange is the lunch lady, and Miss Lazar is the janitor. Miss Lazar was definitely the craziest out of all of them. She was definitely the most extreme. Me personally, I would have liked if they would have had Miss Daisy. I mean, she literally started off the series, so I was shocked when she wasn't even in it at all. I mean, I get middle school, I guess you don't have a homeroom teacher, but I still think it would have been cool to see who they would have casted for her. I feel like it would have been cool for her to be the one to be helping them out rather than Mr. Small. Again, that didn't make much sense to me. But, the dynamics were, for what they were, it was fun. It was funny. It wasn't as cringy as I thought it would be. The dynamics between, like, the kids and then adding Mr. Small into it. I mean, the cringiest parts to me were the teachers, but they also, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, you just kind of learn to kind of just, like, go with the flow by the end of it and just kind of laugh at how crazy they are. I mean, again, the actors did a good job at just portraying that craziness, but it was nowhere near as bad in the books. So, like, that crazy. But, yeah. What else? I vaguely remember reaching out to Dan Gutman back in 2017 or whatever and told him we should make My Word School into like a movie or something. And he said, reach out to Steven Spielberg or something like that. And he was kind of like joking, but he sounded like interested in becoming a movie. And it becoming a movie. I don't think I have that email though. I gotta check. I don't think so, but I will look it up just in case. Let's see, Dan Gutman. Okay, yeah. So it was back in 2017 in August. I reached out to him and said I was wondering if we could still make a My Word School movie, and I wanted to be an animated movie. And he said the proper procedure is to put together a detailed proposal for what you have in mind, your credentials, films you've worked on, how you plan to finance the project. I had none of that. I had none of that. I had aspirations to do that back then, but I had none of that. So I never responded to him because I didn't want to lie. I didn't want that. So, but yeah, it's cool. I still have these emails though. So, I mean, and it didn't become an animated movie. It would have been cool for it to be an animated movie. I mean, but then again, people would probably complain that it looked weird, kind of like they do with the new Wimpy Kid animated movies. But I think it would have been cool for it to be animated, but it worked for the live action, for what it was. I mean, to me personally, for most of it, I didn't feel like it was My Word School. But as a Nickelodeon movie, and all things considered, and the chemistry with the actors, I think it worked out pretty well. I would say how they ended it with AJ getting on the megaphone, or not the megaphone, getting on the announcements or the speaker and saying how much teachers are underappreciated and under-respected, and how and all of that. I thought that whole speech and how like we need you was actually a pretty powerful speech that I think kind of shines some light into how teachers are disrespected and they don't get the competent that they deserve. So I liked how they kind of tied that in, and how that was able to get the teachers to like snap out of it and realize, like, get back to doing their jobs properly. So I thought that was like actually like a decent ending to the whole thing. Again, that wasn't really what My Word School was all about. But for a movie, you kind of have to have a message, right? And they played they did a pretty good job with getting that message out there for the movie. I mean, they had to make some changes, right? It didn't have all the groundwork laying there that Diary of a Wimpy Kid did, but they did a decent job. All things considered, I had some issues with it. Like, I think it would have been better if they had Miss Daisy in it. I think it would have been better if it was an elementary school. If they would have just had to be focused on Miss Daisy or something, or just like a few. I mean, they only had like a few teachers in there. I think it's weird that they didn't pick her to be one of them. But yeah, it was overall decent. It sucks that I got pulled from Paramount, but if you want to watch it, there's something on Reddit you can go and click a link for. Someone uploaded it onto some site. But yeah, so let me know down below what you think of the movie. Did it stack up to the books for you, or whatnot? I mean, I still prefer Diary from a Big Kid, but these books, they were fun for what they were. I mean, I wouldn't read them now. In fact, when we moved, I sold them to some kid in the church. So, but yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.